Hello everybody, this is Justin from KQS, and today I will be reviewing the NEO GEO X. The NEO GEO X is a portable NEO Geo arcade system, and for a lot of people who don't know what a NEO Geo is, that's not surprising because the main reason why many people didn't have one was the price. It was a $600 arcade system console. But through the powers of technology and making things cheaper, they finally made it affordable. Well, a third of the price, but you do get quite a bit of good stuff. Let's check it out.
As you can see, the screen is huge. It's a 4.3 inch, about the size of a PSP LCD, and though not as big as a Vita screen. It looks actually pretty nice. On the left, you'll notice a D-pad analog stick thingy. If you've ever had SNK handhelds, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's pretty simple handheld-wise. You got your speaker, ABCD buttons, menu and start button. It has a rubberized back that feels very comfortable. And you can see the nice SNK logo there. On the bottom, you got volume and brightness buttons and a headphone jack. On the side is where you turn your system on, and this is where you put your game card slot in, but it's pretty much an SD card. Just watch out because the spring of the SD card slot will send it flying if you're not careful. Up top you got 4 shoulder buttons that handles the aspect ratio, and you got a nice little mini HDMI auxiliary and a micro USB port. Sadly they don't work independently, so no charging the system with a random USB or plugging it into the TV with the HDMI cable. You have to use the special docking station they made. Speaking of docking station, here it is. The docking station is actually based off the real NEO GEO system. The dimensions are the same, just weighs a little bit less. It has 2 front USB ports and a mini HDMI that goes in the back. And the real question is, since the NEO GEO is on the inside, how are you going to play? With this very awesome replica arcade stick that, again, is based off the original NEO GEO stick. It's just a little bit smaller than the original. Though the cord's length is very short, and you'll probably need a USB extension cable. It's not a cheap third-party Atari joystick that you just plug into your TV. It's strongly built to the original specs of the NEO GEO system, built by SNK themselves, and it's very impressive, though the battery life of the NEO GEO X is not the best at about 4 to 5 hours. Okay, that's the hardware side. Now let's take a look on how to set it up with the docking station. As I said earlier, to charge the portable and hook it up to the TV, you will need to use the docking station. It only takes a few steps. Just open the dock with the little hinge in the front. Next, you line up your NEO GEO X with the ports up top and slide it in. It does take a little effort, but it should snap. Then you just close it, plug in your audio-video cables, plug in your arcade stick, and turn it on. And voila! You not only have a new NEO GEO system right into your TV, but it's also using a digital signal using the HDMI cable. The UI is decent, nothing exactly flashy, but it's functional. The NEO GEO X comes preloaded with 20 games, and yeah, I'm not going to name them all, just check the description if you're interested, but the 20 games have some of their best. Always when I think of SNK games, the first games that come into mind are Samurai Showdown, Metal Slug, and King of Fighters. But there are plenty of games that I've never heard of, like War of the Monsters. It's a crazy monster fighting game. Alpha 2, a side-scrolling shooter like 1942. Last Resort, a shooter that plays like Gradius. And Nom 1975, a shooter that reminds me of the old Nintendo Punisher game. And they play exactly how they did all those years ago. And yes, they are just as hard. One thing I don't care for is just the fact that most games have only 4 continues. Real arcade machines have a free play option or just the ability to tweak continues. And if you want to beat these games, it's all based on your skill alone. Not to say they aren't very fun, just they can be very brutal at times. Though the best game I have to say is the extra game that comes only available when you pre-order it. It's called Ninja Masters. It's a really awesome fighting game. It mixes the hand-to-hand combat of like Street Fighter and like King of Fighters, but with weapon combat, kind of like the Samurai Showdown series. It's actually one of my favorite ones, hands down. The NEO GEO X is capable of some really cool tricks. Since the arcade stick uses USB, I thought I would actually test it on the PC, and it's not really surprising that it works. So anybody who uses emulators, you just got yourself a new controller. But the biggest surprise is that if you plug it into a PS3, it actually works perfectly. Well, the buttons only use the square, X, triangle, and circle buttons, but that's perfect for the NEO GEO games that were released on the PS3. And check it out, I'm playing Metal Slug on my PS3 with a NEO GEO controller. But the last thing is that people who like to hack their devices will be pretty pleased to know that the SD card slot that they use for games is unprotected. If the video is still there, on YouTube there is an actual video to show you how to hack it, and so you can use ROMs from your emulators and play any NEO GEO game on that SD card, so making that little portable system even more awesome. The NEO GEO X, when it comes down to it, is a nostalgia system. There really isn't going to be any new games offered by SNK, but personally I still love it. Having a legit arcade system in the palm of your hands is amazing. I mean, the games mostly consist of fighting games, but it's always been their most successful genre and why they're still in business. Though the price is the biggest reason why it's so hard to recommend the NEO GEO X. At $200 retail price, it might even be more so now, it's very expensive for just a nostalgia trip. I mean, it's very well built, but if you are interested in old school games and love anything nostalgia and you have the money, I would recommend it. It's an awesome system. Though, if you have a NEO GEO emulator on your PC or play NEO GEO games on the PS3, I would just buy the controller. It's a true USB replica of the system and it performs great. Either way, they're really both great buys. Okay, that's the end of the review. Just thumbs up and subscribe for more reviews and randomness. If you are interested in the NEO GEO system or the controller, I will be putting links in the description below. And again, this is Justin from KQS, and until we meet again, comrades.